Good morning. I'd like to welcome everyone to today's Board of Curators meeting held at UMSL, including those joining us via the live stream. As a courtesy, I ask everyone to please bring your mic in close when speaking. Valerie, would you please call the roll to establish a quorum?
Curator Blitz is absent. Curator Fry?
Present.
Curator Graves?
Here.
Curator Holloway?
Here.
Curator Cruzen?
Here.
Curator Lehman? Curator Sinkfield?
Here.
Curator Winokur?
Here.
Curator Williams?
Present.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. I would now like to ask everyone to rise and join Curator Fry, an Army veteran, in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Curator Fry. As we begin our meeting today, I want to share our board values that we passed 2 years ago to guide members in the governance of the University of Missouri pursuant to the Constitution and the revised statutes of the state of Missouri. Trustworthy and transparent communication, respect of each other and all university stakeholders, healthy board governance, support and hold accountable leadership, and strategic vision. These values are at the beginning of all board materials and are the foundation of our interactions with each other and with all constituencies. Curator Holloway, I now turn it over to you for the Audit, Compliance, and Ethics Committee meeting.
Now, the Audit, Compliance, and Ethics Committee has one action item to move into executive session this morning. May I have a motion and a second from the committee for an executive session for the Audit, Compliance, and Ethics Committee?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Chairman, we have a motion and a section. Valerie, do you please call the roll?
Curator Holloway?
Yes?
Curator Cruzen? Curator Sinkfield?
Yes.
Curator Williams?
Yes.
You have all votes in favor.
Madam Chair, this concludes the business of the committee until later today.
Thank you, Curator Holloway. Curator Graves, please proceed with the Finance Committee meeting.
The Finance Committee has one item one action item to move into executive session. May I have a motion, a second from the committee to move into executive session? So moved.
Second?
All right, we have a motion, second from the committee. Can we call the roll of the committee, please?
Curator Blitz is coming later. Curator Fry?
Yes.
Curator Graves?
Yes.
Curator Holloway?
Yes.
Got all votes in favor.
All right, Madam Chair, this concludes the business of the Finance Committee until later today.
Great, thank you, Curator Graves. May I have a motion and a second to move into executive session from the full board?
So moved.
Second.
Valerie, you have a motion and a second. Will you please call the roll?
Curator Blitz is absent. Curator Fry?
Yes.
Curator Graves?
Yes.
Curator Holloway?
Yes.
Curator Cruzen?
Yes.
Curator Lehman?
Yes.
Curator Sinkfield?
Yes.
Curator Winokur?
Yes.
Curator Williams?
Yes.
You've got all votes in favor.
Thank you. The motion carries. The board will now move into executive session. We will join back in public session early afternoon. Thank you. First of all, I want to thank Chancellor Sobolik for hosting us today. Thank you so much. We enjoy being at AMSL, and you can tell because we have all the bright red tablecloths and all the wonderful students that are here and faculty and staff. It's great to be here and see all the transformative work going on at the university. We had a great reception last night, and for those of you who are listening, when you come to St. Louis, you need to go see how much UMSL is changing. There's dirt, there's fences, there's a hole in the ground, and it is clear that it is on the move. So thank you for having us. First off, today I had the honor to introduce UMSL's Remington R. Williams Award recipient. As many may remember, Remington, our late student representative to the board, was a true example of servant leadership. He was deeply invested in improving student communities at all 4 universities. He did this while maintaining a stellar academic record, which is incredibly impressive. Each recipient exemplifies the qualities that we all admired about Remington and prompted the creation of this award. This recipient receives $1,000 as well as a medal designed by 2 Mizzou students. The Board of Curators is honored to recognize this year's UMSL Remington R. Williams Award recipient, Angela Truesdell. Angela, if you'll come up. Let me tell you a little bit about Angela. Angela is the president of the accounting club at UMSL and is in the accelerated master's program now. Mrs. Truesdale has supported her fellow students as head supplemental instructor and a former position as treasurer of the UMSL Accounting Club. She also has the distinction of being elected to Beta Alpha Psi Honor Society, and we congratulate Angela. Chancellor Soblik, will you join us for a picture? You go, please. Okay. And we'll probably step a little bit. You tell us where you want us. So,
Yeah, right there.
is right there good? Okay. Congratulations. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. Okay, now I'd like to recognize the Curators Distinguished Professors from UMSL. Okay. Honoring our faculty with this distinction is the highest honor the board awards. It allows us to recognize those celebrated professors for contributing to the growth of their respective fields and their outstanding scholarship over the course of their careers and during their time at UMSL. As I've said before, it signals to others that the UM system is a powerhouse, drawing the top professors from around the world to our universities. Today, we welcome 3 UMSL professors into this illustrious group. Our first honoree is Dr. Cody Ding from the College of Education. Dr. Ding? Hello. I'm going to read a little bit about you. Dr. Ding researches the psychosocial development and adaptation of adolescents and young adults to improve student learning and educational practices in schools. His research has been awarded nearly $4.5 million in grant funding. Congratulations, Dr. Ding. We're going to get a picture with you. There's our chancellor. I'm going to have you turn that this way. There we go.
There you go.
Okay. And if you will hover, we're going to do a group picture when we get all 3 of you recognized. Okay? That'd be great. Okay. Next is Dr. David Kimball from Political Science. Dr. Kimball's research and teaching centers around American government, political parties, voting behavior, and interest groups. Here, I'm going to hand this to you, and I'm going to read some more about you. He has received more than $800,000 in grants from NSF, Pew Charitable Trust, the Hewlett Foundation, and the MIT Election and Data Science Lab. We congratulate Dr. Kimball. Thank you. Great. Okay, we have one more. Okay. Next, we have Dr. Zhumin Wang from Plant Sciences. Dr. Wang? His research focuses on the role lipids play in agricultural systems, including how they influence plant growth and development. He has received more than $18 million in grant funding from the NIH, NSF, Department of Energy, and the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Congratulations, Dr. Wang. Then I think we'd like to do all 3.
Robin, there's one more.
Oh, there's one more. Oh, that's my bad. Hold on, one more. And I know why. And last but not least, we have Dr. Susan Brownell with anthropology. Dr. Brownell wasn't able to be with us in person last year to receive her certificate, so today we are able to recognize her. Dr. Brownell is an internationally recognized expert on Chinese sports, Olympic Games, the World's Fair, with a focus on interplay between the body, sports, transnationalism, and ritual. Her work has allowed her the opportunity to represent UMSL and the UM system by delivering 12 keynote speeches to a variety of academic audiences around the world. Congratulations, Dr. Brownell. We'd like to do all 4. Where would you like us?
Maybe in the front here?
In front of the podium? Okay.
Push the microphone down. Jesus Christ.
Good smiles, everybody. One time. Okay. Oh, I have one more, or we? Can we jump in?
He's good.
Great smiles.
He tells me. They just take care of business, you know.
Thank you to each of you, and a hearty congratulations to all. Okay, great. We've had an incredible fall semester across the system. When we met in September, I spoke about our momentum across the state. That momentum continues to grow. Throughout the University of Missouri system, we have been raising the bar to a new standard of excellence with projects like at UMSL. Almost 5 years after introducing their Masters in Cybersecurity, this program is ranked third in the nation by Forbes. This highlights the importance of identifying workforce needs and using our unique strengths to prepare a new generation of students to make a meaningful impact. At MU, in 10 days, we break ground on the transformative renovation for Memorial Stadium. This renovation will make our position as leaders in the SEC even more clear, giving us a stadium to match our status. At S&T, a recent Stanford study showed 78 researchers affiliated with Missouri S&T are among the top 2% cited scientists in their field. Their work spans the engineering and science disciplines, showing the strength of the S&T faculty. And at UMKC, the National Institutes of Health awarded $8.3 million grant to the UMKC Healthcare Institute this fall, the largest NIH grant at UMKC to date. This grant will be used to fund a nationwide study to combat maternal deaths and illness. Last year, I stated the mantra, "Why stop now?" was relevant for the whole system, not just the Mizzou football team, because we aren't going to settle, and we have our eyes on the future. While we consistently deliver excellence for our students and our state, we remain committed to progress and refuse to settle for good enough. We're one of Missouri's greatest assets and among the greatest institutions in the world. However, we cannot maintain this success if we slow down or become complacent. The University of Missouri is known for our innovative solutions, our Midwestern values, and the hard work and dedicated effort we invest to support the state. We're leaning into that throughout the system. The projects I mentioned earlier are just the tip of the iceberg. This is the last Board of Curators meeting of the 185th year of the university's existence. That's 185 years of being a force for positive change and growth in Missouri and beyond. I couldn't be more excited to see where this momentum takes us this next year, decade, and beyond. As goes the university, goes the state. Thank you. We asked President Choi to come forward for this report, but I believe he's already behind me. So President Choi, I turn it over to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Curator Winokur. And my report will be very brief today. And let me begin with our first-time college applicants. And I'll give you a chance to read through the numbers. And you could see that there are blue percentage increases for all 4 universities. This is very positive. So as a system, compared to last year, we are about 22% higher in first-time college student applicants. Compared to 2 years ago, we're about 35% higher. This is a very, very good trend, given the demographics all around us of lower number of high school graduates and still a lower percentage of those graduates that are pursuing higher education. So excellent work by the enrollment management teams, the faculty and staff that provide tours of laboratories and classrooms, and they deserve a big round of applause. So application is one thing, but once we receive the applications, we review them and we admit the students. When the students and the parents feel that they are making the right decision, they'll put down a deposit, and that's what we call that particular event as the active acceptances. And as you can see from here, the acceptances are doing extremely well. Compared to last year as a system, we are 68% higher. Compared to 2 years ago, we are 75% higher. And I know that this is early, but this is a very good trend considering the applications are up about 22%, admits are up about 22%, but the active acceptances are up significantly higher than that. So this is very positive going forward. We also can highlight when students come and visit our universities the many important achievements by our students. And as you know, providing an outstanding, affordable education that students can use to become productive citizens is at the core of the public university mission. At Mizzou, 3 of our students that are showing up there received the TRIO designation awards. And these awards are provided for students that are either first generation low-income or disabled students. And so this is something that we are promoting, not only at Mizzou, but all 4 universities, to make sure that we are a more diverse university where we welcome and celebrate and promote each individual. At UMKC, Maya Thomas is a Earth and Environmental Sciences student who will eventually go on for her PhD, but she received a major award from the American Geophysical Union for data visualization, for the work that she has conducted in Iceland. Maya is also the captain, the president of the Baja Buggy team at UMKC. At Missouri S&T, one thing that we may not realize is that while there's a strong Greek life, fraternity, sorority life programs at Mizzou, S&T also has some very strong programs. And these 2 young men received the Distinction Award from the North American Interfraternity Conference. And I believe that Ryan Heifel is here with us. Ryan, are you here? Please stand. And Ryan, are you a senior? Very good. Welcome and keep up the great work. And Grace Desjardins is here. Grace, please stand. She is a senior political science student that received a national organization dedication for civic and community engagement in higher education. And she is from Garden City, Missouri, who has aspirations to go to law school, I would imagine? All right, we have 2 good law schools. One at Columbia, one in Kansas City. So hopefully we'll see you there. Congratulations. Our faculty continue to do outstanding work. Beyond the classroom, where they're teaching our students and ensuring that they have the necessary advice and training that they need to be successful, our faculty members are making a name for the university through their research and engagement activities. Dr. Felix Fritchie is one of our best plant sciences faculty, and he was just selected the president of the Crop Science Society of America. And this goes to show that the University of Missouri, as well as the other universities that are part of our system, continues to invest in agriculture, our most important industry in the state of Missouri. Dr. Chen Yi is part of the UMKC Conservatory, which is the 2nd oldest conservatory in the United States, and they have a fantastic music program. And Dr. Chen Yi was recently inducted into the International Society of Contemporary Music for her choral as well as orchestral compositions. Dr. Joe Birkin received the 2024 President's Medal from American Society of Civil Engineers, and this is a major award from one of the largest professional organizations in the world. Last year, the recipient was actually the president. President Joe Biden received this award for the infrastructure investment that the government made. So this is a major accomplishment for Dr. Joe Birkin, whose work is in an area called phytovolatilization, and that is using plants to be able to take up the contaminants and then release it in a safer form as gases. He is one of the world's experts in this area. And we have with us Dr. Ekin Pellegrini. Dr. Pellegrini, she is leading, she's an associate dean that created the Doctor of Business Administration program, and in just a few short years created one of the best programs in the United States. And recently the CEO magazine designated this program as a global DBA program to look for. And so congratulations, keep up the great work. Right, now to some numbers, and I'll give you a chance to look at these numbers. This is only for the first quarter from July 1st until October 31st, the first 5 months. And in this, you could see the growth that we've seen over the years from 2021 through 2025. And this is a measure that many of us look at probably on a weekly basis. We look at this number as well as the new awards, as well as proposals that are submitted. and this constitutes all of the research projects. But beyond research, we have activities that support the broader activities of engagement and community service. That is more accurately captured in the sponsor projects category. And you could see that at UMSL, it has risen significantly from 8 million to 20 million over the past 4 years. And at Mizzou, we've seen a decline. Part of that decline is that last year, we received about $62 million from the federal government through the congressionally directed projects from Senator Blunt that was expended last year that's not available this year. But this is a number only for the first 5 months of this year. Any questions so far? In terms of the major grants, earlier today we discussed the importance of radiopharmaceuticals and Mizzou's central role in that supply chain. Matt Sanford, as well as colleagues together, received a $4 million grant from NIST to purchase the necessary instruments to advance the productivity as well as the capacity for radiopharmaceutical manufacturing. At Missouri S&T, Dr. Hongyan Ma, who was a Cummer Impact Professor and really, truly a rising star, not only at S&T, but in the field of engineering, received $1 million to better understand how to use carbon dioxide and alkaline solid waste to reduce the energy impact as well as the contaminant impact for advanced concrete that's going to be needed for all of these major infrastructure projects, not only in the United States, but also throughout the world. At UMKC, one of our very distinguished professors, who is a Missouri Endowed Chair in Metabolic and Vascular Diseases, received $2.5 million to put into practice the advanced research that is conducted at UMKC and to link cardiovascular care with the advent of pregnancy. And so this has a very important effect on the mother's well-being as well as the child's well-being, especially as it's related to congenital diseases going forward. Last but not least, here we have at UMSL, we have Professor Lon Schubitz. Professor Schubitz, if you can stand. He is a professor of biology, and this really goes to show how our faculty members are tackling problems that really plague the globe, entire globe. Because of changes in our climate, we are seeing more and more frequency of wildland fires. In fact, over the past, over that past 15-year period, there's been a 320% increase in wildland fires. So better understanding how biological communities adapt to the prevalence of wildfires is at the heart of Dr. Schubitz's studies, and hopefully he'll be able to marry the scientific studies with policymakers to predict how we can better use land going forward, because this is a problem that is not going away, especially if you live in the western states or in the coastal regions of the United States. So thank you. Congratulations. The last item on research is, first of all, I want you to take a look at the map that's shown and the dots that are shown there. And what you see is there are 4 dots in Missouri. Kansas, they have 1. Iowa, they have 1. Minnesota, they have 1. Wisconsin. So out of all of the major universities, the University of Missouri received 3 engines proposal, which each of them can apply for a 10-year, $160 million proposal to develop the type of partnerships with industry to create a nexus of excellence. It may be in advanced battery charging to energize the corridor to allow more electrical vehicles to use our infrastructure. At UMKC, it's critical minerals at the heart of it, and that's Tony Caruso that is leading that effort to make sure that we can reshore the critical mineral excavation to the United States. But in those cases where we don't have the natural resources, how do we determine alternatives to lithium, alternatives to other critical minerals that we don't have access to in the United States. Last but not least is Dr. Antonio Sardella, who is affiliated with the Active Pharmaceutical Ingredient Consortium here in St. Louis, and they are looking at ways to reshore KSM. KSM is known starting material, and API means active pharmaceutical ingredients, so that we do not have to rely on foreign supply logistics for critical medicines that we need in the United States. So over the next few months, they'll be developing these $160 million proposals, and the other dot belongs to WashU. And we did not get the Mizzou proposal selected, so we're going to have some conversations back at Mizzou about getting ready for the next one. But congratulations to the 3 other universities. Great job. Philanthropy. Where are we in philanthropy? We are finally past the 2020 marker, because 2020 marker with Missouri S&T with the $300 million gift really skewed all of the axes. So we're beyond that. As you can see, we have some work to do. You could see where the goals are on the top for each of the universities, but I believe that we are well on our way. I know that with a announcement that Chancellor Soblik will make in a few minutes, we're going to see that UMSL is well on its way to meeting that goal of $25 million. And now what I would like to do is announce the appointment of some very senior leaders at the university. Carol Watley joined us as the chief librarian at Mizzou, and she was the chief librarian at Caltech, a small university out in Pasadena. Dr. Ross Zafanti comes to us from Harvard University, and he is serving as the executive vice dean. Dr. Zafanti, you are here. Dr. Zafanti, please stand. Welcome aboard. Dr. Sumi Tua from Louisiana Tech is the Vice Chancellor for Research at UMKC. I do not believe he is here. And Janelle Julian is the Assistant Vice Pro for Student Engagement from Fon. Janelle, welcome. And Hailey Shiley, she is the Executive Director of Athletics, and she joins us from Transylvania. Just a little bit of side note about Transylvania. How many people have heard of Transylvania College? I had to look it up, and I mean this. I thought it was something to do with vampires, but it is a really great university, and over 50 U.S. senators attended Transylvania University. And so thank you and welcome, and that concludes my presentation. Any questions or comments?
Nancy, one more, Nancy Singer.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Nancy Singer. She's the intern dean at College of Education. She's from UMSL, but she is attending a faculty meeting right now. Thank you.
Great.
All right.
Thank you, President Choi. Chancellor Soblik, we turn it over to you to hear about UMSL highlights.
Thank you. So it's really an honor to update our board and the university on UMSL's remarkable progress and momentum. Every day we move forward in our mission to transform lives, not only the lives of our students, but all those with all their families, our broader community, and beyond. Now, as one of the nation's premier Tier 1 public research universities, UMSL serves over 8,000 degree-seeking students, 7,000 more through our non-credit and advanced credit programs. Our alumni community is 117,000 strong, and they create a huge impact. The vast majority of our alums remain here in Missouri, driving growth and bringing their expertise to our state. In fact, 1 in 6 bachelor's degree holders in the St. Louis region is an UMSL graduate. We have much to be proud of and much to celebrate, but to start, I'd like to highlight some recent accolades that reflect our university's achievement and growing impact. As you may know, UMSL continues to rise in the U.S. News and World Report rankings. We are now ranked number 135 among all public universities in the nation, which is a significant accomplishment that highlights our progress and growing reputation among thousands of institutions nationwide. Our reputation for excellence extends across multiple areas. In September, Forbes recognized UMSL as the #1 institution in Missouri for online education, underscoring our commitment to high-quality online instruction and robust support for our students, no matter if on the ground or in the cloud. In October, as President Choi had indicated, Fortune ranked UMSL's Masters in Cybersecurity program #3 in the nation, with only Carnegie Mellon and the University of Nevada, Las Vegas ahead of us. Our goal is to reach #1, solidifying UMSL's position as a leader in cybersecurity education, a position they have held for the past 7 years when the National Security Agency designated UMSL as the first cybersecurity center for educational excellence in the Midwest. Also in October, U.S. News Report ranked UMSL #20 on its list of the best undergraduate international business programs. This marks the 21st consecutive time UMSL has been rated in the top 25, a testament to our consistency and excellence in preparing students for global success. Our commitment to transforming lives shines in the area of social mobility. U.S. News and World Report recently ranked UMSL #1 in Missouri and #92 nationally among top performers on social mobility in its 2025 Best Colleges rankings. This list recognizes universities that excel at graduating Pell Grant recipients, an area where UMSL has led in Missouri for 3 consecutive years. Now, since our founding, we've been dedicated to making education accessible and attainable, removing barriers so that students could achieve their goals and prepare for successful futures. This ranking affirms our efforts and reflects our mission to transform lives across our state and beyond. Our university marketing and communications team recently received top honors with the Best of District 7 Award from the Council for the Advancement and Support of Education, known as CASE. For the 2nd consecutive year, UMSL's magazine earned high marks in the design category, standing out among institutions across an 8-state Mid-America region. And you'll see the latest fall edition of our UMSL magazine at your table, so you have it right in front of you. And I invite you to engage in this publication as it continues to showcase stories of impact. And if you see, you will see our own Curator Cruson on page 33. So take a look at page 33. As we lean into our academic year, UMSL proudly welcomed nearly 15,000 diverse and driven students across our on-campus and off-campus programs this fall. This includes our largest entering class to date, with 1,200 first-time-to-college students. Our students hail from 25 states and 26 countries, bringing national and global perspectives to our campus community. While this enrollment growth is encouraging, our success hinges on retention, ensuring students stay engaged and supported throughout their academic journey. We also welcomed 21 new faculty members across 6 academic units, each selected with a focus on advancing our vision for the future. And while we celebrate our new faculty, we also took the time this morning, and thank you, President Choi, for celebrating our long-term faculty, including those designated this fall as Curators Distinguished Professors by this board. We are very proud of them and their success. These faculty members and many others are integral to our remarkable surge in research and sponsored activity funding. Since fiscal year of 2017, our awards have grown by over 340%, surpassing $88 million this past year. Now, this reflects a huge 63% increase, $34 million from the previous year. This growth is driven by the dedication of our researchers across campus. This year, we recognized Emily Brown and Mary Edwin as our co-investigators of the year, who secured a $3.1 million U.S. Department of Education grant to address the shortage of school counselors in high-need districts, benefiting over 5,000 students' mental health over the next 5 years. At the same time, Vivek Singh, here on the left, was inducted into the UMSL chapter of the National Academy of Inventors for his cloud computing security systems innovation. We also celebrated Michael Nichols on the right as UMSL's Faculty Innovator of the Year, highlighting his long-time NSF and NIH-funded research on Alzheimer's disease, which was recently highlighted in the Next Gen Precision Health Discovery Series. Thank you, Rick. Countless other faculty members deserve recognition for their contributions to our role as one of Missouri's 4 public research universities, bringing significant impact to individuals, science, discovery, and our region, state, nation, and world. So UMSL is on an upward trajectory, and a core part of our progress involves creating a sustainable campus for the future. Supported by state investments and private donors, we are moving forward with multiple projects that will enhance our infrastructure. For the rest of this presentation, I will focus on our Transform UMSL plan, as well as the 5 Mo Excels projects and our top strategic priority, which is the School of Engineering. Thank you to those who attended the reception last night, where we highlighted our progress. Let's take a closer look at our vision for the campus of tomorrow. The University of Missouri-St. Louis is taking its place as the nation's premier public urban research university. Together, we are establishing a renewed academic core on our North Campus to benefit generations of students while enhancing our teaching, research, and outreach mission. Of the $110 million project, nearly $24 million will be supported through generous philanthropic investments from alumni, friends, and organizations. To date, donors have invested $15 million to realize Transform UMSL. In 2023, we completed a build-out of the 2nd floor of the Patient Care Center to serve as the main hub of clinical practice for the College of Optometry. We marked the start of a comprehensive renovation of the University Library and the Mercantile Library that will create more modern, engaging, and flexible libraries to meet the needs of scholars and patrons now and well into the future. We held a ceremonial groundbreaking for the new Richter Family Welcome and Alumni Center. This new 31,000 square foot center will connect to the J.C. Penney building and serve as the gateway to UMSL for prospective students and their families, while also providing a permanent home away from home for the university's more than 117,000 alumni. One of our major efforts is the modernization and expansion of the Social Sciences and Business Building. which required the deconstruction of the tower. A new building expansion will be added in the footprint of the tower that will serve as home to our College of Education and Honors College. UMSL's Entrepreneurship and Innovation Center advances the university's educational and community-engaged entrepreneurial programs that support the region's growing innovation ecosystem. In 2025, we will begin and complete renovations to the EIC's facilities on the North Campus that will create industry-aligned learning environments that allow for expanded programming. Renovation of the current Arts Administration building is underway that will transform the music and arts education experience at UMSL, all in place next to our beautiful Two Hill Performing Arts Center. 2026 is going to be a fantastic year at the University of Missouri-St. Louis. We will celebrate the completion of the Transform UMSL plan with so much excitement and energy on campus. This is truly a transformative time for the University of Missouri-St. Louis. Together, we will transform UMSL. So as you see, we are not only moving forward on our vision, but we are delivering on that vision. Last summer, we completed a build-out of the second floor of our patient care center to become the main hub of clinical practice for our College of Optometry. Around our central quad, we are amid the transformation of the university libraries to create a more modern, engaging, and flexible libraries to meet the needs of scholars and patrons now and well into the future. Work is well underway to build the 31,000 square foot Richter Family Welcome and Alumni Center to serve as the gateway to UMSL for prospective students and their families, while also providing a permanent home away from home for the university's more than 117,000 alumni. And the most visible transformation on our campus this fall has been the deconstruction of the Social Science and Business Building 12-story tower. And in its place, we will build a new SSB addition to become home to our College of Education and Honors College, while simultaneously modernizing the main SSB facilities to create a revitalized hub for our campus community. Our main campus spans 350 acres with 81 buildings, many of which are aging and in need of repair. Through the Transform UMSL initiative, we aim to address over $200 million in deferred maintenance, reducing our backlog by half and ensuring a sustainable future for our facilities. I was just talking with Governor Parson at an event last week, and he commended UMSL again for our Transform UMSL plan, which is focused on sustainability and removing deferred maintenance, rather than adding more, in his words, shiny new buildings. We've taken full advantage of the Missouri Excels program, a Governor Parson initiative to support workforce development. And that initiative brings state dollars alongside university and private funding to enhance our university. We have capitalized on this program with 5 total MoExcels projects so far. Last month, we celebrated our $7 million nursing learning resource and simulation center on our South Campus, allowing us to grow the number of BSN students by 20% annually. This fall, we launched the Geospatial Advanced Technology Labs in Benton Hall, equipped with cutting-edge GIS software, virtual reality labs, drones, and Spot, our Boston Dynamics robotics dog. Our geospatial collaborative aligns with the growing National Geospatial Intelligence Agency ecosystem here in St. Louis, as UMSL drives workforce development in this important industry. We recently upgraded our Children's Advocacy Center, creating a safe, welcoming space for children and families in need of forensic interviews or counseling after experiencing trauma, one of our most impactful transformations. In June, UMSL received additional MOExcels funding to support our Entrepreneurship and Innovation Center, making state-of-the-art resources accessible to our students and extending our entrepreneurship programs to benefit the region and state. We also received new MOExcels funding for our Advanced Workforce Center, launched last year to provide tailored educational programs for employers and non-credit upskilling programs to support a professional workforce. Our newest partnerships signed within the last 2 months include Worldwide Technology, the St. Louis City Police and Foundation, the Girl Scouts of Eastern Missouri, the Greater St. Louis Area Scouting Council, and Zipline Education, with a number in the pipeline. Among these transformative initiatives, the most impactful is our state-supported establishment of the UMSL School of Engineering. With a $15 million initial appropriation, we are launching a School of Engineering that will offer ABET-accredited bachelor's degrees in electrical, civil, and mechanical engineering, building on the success of our 30-year joint program with Washington University. Aligned with Missouri's workforce needs and the STL 2030 jobs plan, this school is made possible by a strong coalition of industry, philanthropic, and legislative supporters. We are grateful to the Board of Curators and to President Choi for your support, as well as strong support from our legislative partners, including Senator Brian Williams, Speaker Dean Plocher, and Governor Parson. UMSL has been working with strategic private donors to cultivate and secure startup funding for operational expenses and student scholarships. And we are getting not only great feedback, but the green light to submit proposals for funding. And I am pleased to announce that from this work, an $8 million gift from the James S. McDonald Foundation has been confirmed this week. This $8 million investment is the largest one-time gift in the university's history and will significantly bolster workforce development for the St. Louis region and the state of Missouri. And I know that our wonderful, UMSL group has not heard that yet, so great news, team. Now, this week, we are completing on-campus interviews for the inaugural director from the slate of excellent candidates. And we are in the midst of preparing for science complex renovations for engineering labs, student spaces, and faculty offices. Our enrollment marketing plan was launched in August with the first student cohort set to start in fall of 2025. That's less than a year. The UMSL School of Engineering is advancing rapidly, momentum is in full force, and we're well on our way to establishing a premier engineering program for Missouri and beyond. And with that, I thank you for your sincere support of our university as we carry forward the vision of past boards who established the University of Missouri-St. Louis to be a driving force in educating and advancing Missouri's most vital urban and metropolitan region. Together, we're building a stronger workforce and economy for the betterment of our state. I welcome any questions or discussions as we continue to move UMSL forward. Thank you.
Any questions?
I would just say congratulations, Chancellor, on an incredible gift from the James S. McDonald Foundation. Obviously, they got the message that UMSL's on the move.
That's right. Thank you, Curator Cruson.
Congratulations. You're doing a great job, your team. We appreciate you all, and keep it up.
Thank you, Curator.
Kristen, I'd like to add my sincere thanks to everything you've done for this university. It's had you, it's had other chancellors here that have been great too. But, I mean, just to walk around this campus and see it from what it was in 1958, I think, it's a miraculous transformation, and you are a integral part of it, and your vision for the future, I can't wait to see. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Thank you, Chancellor Sobolik, for an outstanding presentation. We'll take a minute. The board wants to congratulate our new Secretary of the Board of Curators, Valerie Slayton. Valerie has been with the UM system for 6 years, most recently as the interim in this role. She is only the 7th person to hold this position in the UM system. Valerie brings a focus on new processes, strategies, and technologies. The Secretary of the Board is one of the 4 officers of the board and is identified in the Missouri Constitution. This office, and particularly this position, is essential to the board's governance of the university system and allows the board to better serve its fellow Missourians. Congratulations, Valerie. Okay, as we start our action items and voting by the board, I forgot to mention this to you all in advance. If you have an abstention, please declare it. If not, we'll stick with aye and nay to be more streamlined. And I also want to, I'm going back to Valerie's, I forgot to thank Curators Lehman and Williams. Thank you for being on the search committee, and particularly to thank you, Curator Williams, for chairing the committee for the secretary to the board. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciated. Okay, next we have the consent agenda. I would like to highlight a few items on the consent agenda today. First is the DOE radioisotope facility at MU. President Choi, is there anything you want to add or share about that project?
We're very excited about this project. It demonstrates DOE's strong commitment to the University of Missouri to meet the needs of radiopharmaceutical production in the United States. Thank you.
Thank you. Second is the Bioplex project at Missouri S&T. Chancellor Degani, please feel free to share any comments about this project before we vote on the consent agenda.
Opportunity. Our Bioplex is an effort to bring engineering to delivery of healthcare. The effort is at the intersection of physical sciences and engineering that we do so well, and life sciences and medicine. We have an excited group of alums and contributors to the effort, and we are in line to start the project in April, and we are very excited about it.
Great, thank you so much. Are there any questions regarding the items on the consent agenda? Hearing none, may I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, Curator Graves and Curator Holloway with the second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Nay? Okay. The motion passes. Thank you so much. Curator Singfield, I turn it over to you for the Academic, Student Affairs, Research, and Economic Development Committee meeting.
Okay, today the committee has one information item, UMSL's annual intercollegiate athletics report, and 4 action items relating to new degree programs. So we will begin, there she is, with the UMSL intercollegiate athletics report. Executive Director of Athletics, Dr. Holly Shiley?
It's Sheely.
Sheely is here today to walk us through UMSL's athletic programs and to answer our questions.
Thank you. Well, I was going to start by telling President Choi, when I was at Transylvania, the most common joke I got was, do you only play night games? So you're right. I hear that a lot. But it is the 16th oldest university in the country, so a little bit different than UMSL, but I am so delighted to be here, and thank you for this opportunity. That is me. I came from, most recently, Transylvania, but prior to that, I was at the NCAA. Please don't boo. and prior to that, the University of Louisville. And I am, as I mentioned, the opportunity to be here with the leadership has been already in 2 months an incredible experience, and I'm very excited about what we're going to do. Obviously, most of this report is about what has happened in the past, and since being here for 2 months, I'm delighted to share a lot of good news. We have 19 teams. We do compete in Division II, and you can see those teams listed. We are in the Great Lakes Valley Conference. This is the numbers from last year, 23-24, so it breaks down the teams that we sponsor as well as the number of student athletes that we've had, and then the number of women at 129 and men at 143. UMSL had an outstanding year last year. They hosted their first Midwest Regional and also won that championship, had a GLVC Player of the Year, 2 Freshmen of the Year, 2 Coaches of the Year, 3 Academic All-Americans, 10 All-Americans, 25 Players of the Week, and 36 All-GLVC honorees, which is a tremendous credit to them. But it's not only about athletics. We do call them student athletes for a reason. And I'm really proud to say that the overall GPA is 3.49. They've had 22 consecutive semesters above a 3.0. 50 student athletes had straight A's. Our academic success rate is 83%, and the average in Division II is 76. So we're well above that, and we had 187 academic all-GVC student athletes. As we look at major accomplishments, you can see 5 teams had NCAA appearances last year. We had 12 individuals with NCAA appearances, and we were ranked in the Learfield Cup, which is the ranking for all Division II schools, 77th out of 300. You can see our overall department record, and as well as all of the 19 teams achieved a cumulative GPA of 3.0 or higher. I think this is hopefully an okay time for me to celebrate one of our current teams right now. Sunday, our women went into the conference tournament as number 5. We upset number 1, and then we won on Sunday to have the first ever school conference championship winners. We play in the NCAA this week on Friday, so when I come back here next year, I expect this screen will have a lot more numbers on it, but we're very proud of where we are right now. The UMSL volleyball team, who's still competing right now, was the Division II Midwest champions. As you can see, these are some of our numbers for this year. We have 270 student athletes. 103 of those are new student athletes. 68 are first-time freshmen. 31 international student athletes with 14 countries represented and 31 states represented. You know, another part of being a student athlete outside of what's important in academics and athletics is what we're doing with these young people to train them for the next 40 years of their life. And I think that's a very important part of what we do. And this is just a sampling of things that the department did last year that we'll continue to build on this year, but financial literacy education, making sure that we're going through team culture and how to not only have team culture on your team, but how does that go to the rest of your life and what you're going to do. Leadership workshops, professional workshops, and how to do a resume, etiquette dinners, networking dinners, CPR and AED training, obviously attention on sexual violence. And then we've been very involved in community service with our Student Athlete Advisory Committee, but with all our teams. We logged 1,600 hours of community service last year alone. I thank you for this opportunity, and as I said, I'm very delighted to be here. Would be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for that report. Are there
Curator
any?
Singfeld, I think Curator Williams has a question.
Wait, I get to talk first. Are there any questions from the committee or any member of the board?
What sport? You said you had a women's team that was competing.
Women's soccer.
Oh, soccer. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry if I missed that. Big important, but it's women's soccer, so yes.
Are there any other questions?
Do you get most of your athletes from the St. Louis area?
You know, obviously being new, I'm still figuring this out, but I think we get, a good pocket from here for sure. But we've also had some from outside the state and internationally. So I'd say yes to both of those.
Okay, no more questions. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Next, we will review and consider for approval 4 new degree proposals. Each campus will present their proposal and answer questions. After all 4 presentations are made, we will introduce a motion for the approval of all 4 proposals as a single package. The first new degree proposal is a PhD in applied psychology at Missouri S&T. Dr. Hopefully I don't mispronounce your name, Mazrad Bourujurdi, and he's the Vice Provost and Dean of the College of Arts and Science and Education, and Dr. Claire Reynolds-Cuny, Chair of the Department of Psychological Sciences, are here to provide a brief presentation and answer any questions. Please.
Thank you. Good afternoon. So I'm here to present the Applied Psychology, the PhD degree at S&T. Applied Psychology specializes in the application of psychological theory, research, and scientific methods to real-world settings and problems, akin to a field research or a lab research that has a practical application. This program will focus on 2 areas of applied psychology: social, industrial organization psychology, or IO, which basically improves social and workplace structures for people, and cognitive psychology, with concentrations in people and technology, improving human health, and integrating cognition, neuro research with organizations. PhD in applied psychology at S&T helps us accomplish the following goals: increase graduate enrollment, meet workforce demands. Department of Labor anticipates over 100,000 job openings in the doctoral level nationwide over the next 10 years in these fields. So this will be a program that serves the industry. Increase the representation of social, behavioral, and brain sciences on S&T's campus through greater representation of students and greater representation of research and scholarly work. And finally, meet regional demands by providing one of the very few degree programs in this area in Missouri and the surrounding 8 state regions. The curriculum is going to offer an interdisciplinary perspective, creating breadth and depth in student development in preparation for future careers. The program chairs of the psychology programs at UMSL, UMKC, and MU were all consulted prior to submitting the full proposal, and all indicated support for this program. 2 chairs specifically pointed out that these tracks would make much-needed contributions to public higher education offerings in the state. Building off the department's strength, including a nationally recognized master's program in IO psychology, and expanding upon the recent strength of our cognition faculty. So, for example, Professor Amy Belfi was recently chosen as a fellow of the American Psychological Association, and she has expertise in this area. Psychology, of course, is one of the most popular undergraduate majors in the country and in this region, and combined with our own student interest, it suggests a rather robust recruitment pool for us. We are exploring rather creative pathways in terms of finding assistantships for our psychology PhD students. So, for example, we have already consulted with various units at S&T for these graduate students to work in. Imagine somebody pursuing this track in industrial organization psychology, working in the HR office, and somebody following the cognition track will be working with our instructional design program. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have about the program. This, by the way, will be the first ever PhD program in social science at S&T as well. So this will be a wonderful mark of passage for us in other ways as well.
Okay.
Be happy to answer any questions along with Dr. Juni here.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from the committee or any member of the board? Yes, they think it's a great idea. Okay, thank you very much. Oh, you had one, okay.
So when you're at full capacity, how many students will actually be part of the program?
Yeah, we are anticipating starting with 4, and by year 5 or 6, we are expecting to go up to 20 doctoral candidates. And they stay at that level for the foreseeable future.
Thank you very much. Okay, the next new degree proposal is for an MS in Economics and Innovation at Missouri S&T. Dr. James Sterling, Vice Provost and Founding Dean of the Kummer College of Innovation, Entrepreneurship, and Economic Development, and Dr. Melody Lowe, Steinmeier Memorial Endowed Chairs of Economics, are here to provide a brief presentation and answer any questions. You may begin.
Thank you. We're pleased and excited to present the Master of Science and Innovation, Economics and Innovation program. This MEI program is a pioneering program developed through extensive conversations with industry leaders who have expressed an urgent need for a workforce that's capable of navigating the intersection of economics and technological innovation. So why this program and why S&T? Today's market recognizes that innovations are more likely to be sustainable and transformational and address real-world challenges when innovators go beyond the technical aspects of the market, the requirements of the innovation. The MEI curriculum emphasizes practical skills built on a foundation of economic theory and quantitative methods to ensure the economic feasibility and sustainability of an innovation project or a venture that generates economic and societal values for all stakeholders. The curriculum will enhance engineers, scientists, mathematicians, people typically with a STEM background to navigate complex decision-making processes related to technology investment, even in uncertain economic and policy or regulatory environments. The MEI program will prepare students for leadership roles in high-impact careers by equipping them with the skills to make interconnected strategic decisions regarding technical and economic viability of innovations. So the curriculum is designed to ensure that all the students master quantitative and managerial economics, data analytics, and product and project management through the required courses. But then there are 2 industry-focused tracks that the students can tailor their studies to align with. These are, first of all, value-driven innovation program, where they master a repeatable process of creating products and solutions with their specific career interests in mind. And then the second track is in energy economics and global sustainability, which addresses global challenges at the intersection of energy systems and technologies, which play such a dominant role today, as we've seen recently in geopolitics with energy systems. So we're looking at curriculum that addresses the innovation under the necessary constraints of economic policies and environmental and regulatory environments. So the program, we'll be starting this, anticipating to start it in the fall of 2025 with 20 students. We anticipate that it'll be immediately at break even, and we want to grow it to 60 students in the next 5 years for steady state, 60 students per year. Thanks for your consideration of the program.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from the committee or any member of the board? What a quiet group. This sounds like a lot of fun.
We expect it to be.
Okay, the third new degree proposal is for a BS in Criminal and Justice Studies at the University of Missouri Columbia. Dr. Chris Haglund, Dean of the College of Health Sciences, and Dr. Aaron Thompson, Director of the School of Social Work, are here to provide a brief presentation and answer any questions. Please.
Thank you, Curator Singfield, and thank you for inviting us to present today. I'm pleased to summarize for the board our proposal for a Bachelor of Science in Criminal and Justice Studies. The field of criminal justice is advancing rapidly, and this program of study provides foundational knowledge of the criminal legal system and the juvenile justice systems to our students. The graduates of this program will be equipped to work throughout Missouri and beyond to implement evidence-based practice in the criminal legal system. The academic program will complement the excellent criminal justice programs at UMSL and UMKC. There's a significant shortage for the criminal and justice systems right now, creating an excellent job market for our graduates. In Missouri, the job outlook is particularly strong for patrol officers, legal professionals, protective service workers, and community service professionals, to name a few. We'll be able to address this shortage, and the proposal has been endorsed by local and state legal officials, including enthusiastic letters of support obtained from Boone County Sheriff, the Chief of Police of the Columbia Police Department, the HR Director of the Department of Corrections, and others. In addition to terrific market demand, there's a significant student demand. The School of Social Work already has an existing criminal justice minor with more than 150 students enrolled in it. When these students were surveyed, more than 84% reported that they would like to have the opportunity to major in a criminal justice studies major. The MU Office of Recruitment also reports that 10 to 20% of our student athletes recruited to MU each year expressed interest in enrolling in a criminal and justice related degree. So we anticipate approximately 15 of our Division I athletes will become majors in this program. The major requires 36 credit hours and builds on the curriculum of the existing criminal justice minor. Students will be exposed to the best practices in law, public affairs, criminal justice, psychology, prevention science, and sociology, so that they are well prepared to serve the contemporary needs of our communities. I'm pleased to say that the School of Social Work faculty are ideally suited to offer this degree. Not only are they offering a highly popular minor, but they have more than $6 million in funded research projects with numerous partners in law enforcement organizations, corrections, and the courts in Missouri. We carefully evaluated the programmatic and financial sustainability of this program proposal. We expect more than 200 students to be enrolled by year 4, and using conservative fiscal projections, the program revenues will fully support the program after 2 years and have a cumulative positive net revenue by year 5. So in summary, there's a clear and sufficient need, market demand, and student interest in the Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice Studies. This program will help MU's land grant mission serve the university, the Missouri citizens. Thank you for considering this proposal. Dr. Thompson and I will do our best to answer any questions.
Okay, now are there any questions from the committee or the member of the board? You know, the problem is we just have too many great new degrees.
It's true.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, our last new degree proposal is an MBA in Business Analytics at UMKC. Join.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm joining by Zoom.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thinking, okay, you're not there, okay. Join us virtually, oh, I should have read that part. Our Dr. Brian Klass, Dean of the Block School of Management, and Dr. Arif Ahmed, Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, to provide a brief presentation and answer any questions. You may begin.
Thank you. UMKC's Block School of Management is proposing an MBA in Business Analytics. It should be noted that we are currently offering an MBA, and the proposed program would leverage many of the courses within our existing MBA. However, the proposed program would allow for a more intense focus on business analytics and for the program to receive DHS STEM designation. Offering a separate STEM-designated MBA with a deep focus on business analytics is important for two reasons. One reason is it would allow us to address significant industry demand in this area. As we all recognize, there are tremendous advances in technology, data availability, and AI. As a consequence, organizations are relying on business analytic tools and AI agents to make better decisions, to automate, improve business processes, and enhance productivity. This is leading to an increase in demand for roles related to business analytics. In Missouri, job growth in this field is expected to increase by 26% over the next 10 years. Nationally, the growth is expected to be 36%. Allow me also to present some informal indication of the demand for specialists in this field, recognizing the role that the digital transformation is playing in business. We recently launched a business analytics advisory board. We quickly had 20 CTOs and other data scientists from organizations eagerly joining us because they wanted to be part of an effort to build talent in this area. This was a group that recognized the need for a program like this, and they recognized the need for producing graduates that would combine business acumen with data science skills. Some of those data science skills that they were most eager for us to incorporate within our MBA program involves managing and assembling complex, messy data that comes in a range of forms, using data to predict a range of outcomes, automating business processes, and implementing AI applications. A second reason for why adding a MBA in business analytics is important is that it would help us grow overall enrollment. With the CIP code that is being used and the heavy quantitative focus, this will be a DHS STEM designated program. With this program should be highly attractive to international students. With the MBA in analytics, international students would potentially have 3 years of optional practical training after they graduate to work in the United States before having to apply for the H-1B visa. We have developed a number of partnerships with international institutions, and the feedback that we receive from them is there would be significant interest from students considering going to graduate school in the United States in a program such as this. While we anticipate getting strong enrollment from both domestic and international students, the STEM designation will be particularly relevant to international students. I will now turn to the resources needed for this program launch. We offer a standard MBA, and that currently includes core courses and elective courses, including courses in business analytics, that would be part of this program. So as a consequence, we would be able to leverage much of what's currently being offered to be able to launch without having to add significant resources. For example, in the fall of 2025, we have the capacity to absorb additional students in the relevant courses without adding additional faculty or staff. As outlined in our proposal, our projections suggest that we would need to add faculty and staff when the program reaches a certain size. Specifically, we've targeted 79 when total enrollment reaches 79 students. We would anticipate needing to add a faculty member and a staff member in order to meet need. However, with those additions, our profit margins would still be quite strong. With that, I will open it up for any questions you might have.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from the committee or the board? What a really quiet group. These great new degrees. If there are no further discussions, may I have a motion and a second from the committee to recommend approval of the 4 new degree programs as presented in the materials?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Okay. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Okay, the motion carries. Madam Chair, on the behalf of the committee, I move to recommend to the full board that the MBA in Business Analytics at UMKC, the BS in Criminal Justice Studies at MU, the MS in Economics and Innovation, and the PhD in Applied Psychology at Missouri S&T be approved.
Thank you, Curator Singfield. Having a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
You are welcome. We are scheduled for a 10-minute break, but are you guys good if we keep pressing forward? Looking at everybody? Okay, let's keep doing that then. Okay, Curator Graves, please reconvene the Finance Committee.
All right, I was very happy to hear that the presenter from the business school noted the profit margin in his program, so we'd like to hear about that. The Finance Committee has one action item, well, that's not, we have one information item and two action items this afternoon. The first item is the financial status report for the University of Missouri, and Ryan Rapp, President of Finance and Operations and CFO, will review the fiscal year 2024 financial status report.
Thank you, Curator Graves. I'll go, there's a lot of information contained in your materials, but today I wanted to go over our fiscal year 24 results. We completed our external audit, our external financial statement audit in October. I think we provided copies of those to members of the board, and it's also available on our website. I do want to thank our controller's office and both our campus and healthcare finance teams for all the work they put into the financial statements and the related audit. And then Forvis Mazars, which I keep wanting to call BKD, they will report on the results of the audit at the February meeting. But if we go to the next chart, just some of the key points that I wanted to highlight is, I think we saw this as we went through the bond issue in August. The university's financial performance remains solid. It's reflective of a AA1 credit of, which I think, there's probably only a handful of other public institutions that enjoy that level of rating, and then even fewer that enjoy a AAA rating. We did achieve a positive operating margin in FY24 of approximately 1.8%, was slightly less than our goal of 2.5%. But our 5-year average remains above that target. And I think you need to remember we have a long business cycle, so we do tend to look at that average over time. We also saw some significant improvement over what we were projecting for FY24 from the third quarter to the fourth quarter, and that was largely driven by improved performance at MU Healthcare, along with MER generating revenue that we hadn't anticipated in FY24, coupled with stronger than expected investment returns on the general pool. I think as we look forward, continuing to manage our expenses as we have within available revenue streams will be important. We're seeing, our academic unit margins are starting to return to those historical levels that we saw pre-COVID. And I think as we think about our capital plans, we've got a lot of capital spend that's built into these plans. It's largely been financed by governmental support and some philanthropy. I think as we look forward, more and more of that will have to be covered by the margins we're able to generate. And so when we talk about margin, we're not talking about margin so we can pay a dividend to shareholders. It's really about sustaining the mission of the university. And, I think, when I go to conferences across the country, they'll talk about no margin, no mission. So really, if we can't generate something in that over time 2 to 3.5% range, it becomes really hard for us to invest strategically in some of the things that we want to do as a university. This is just a chart that I think it's always important. We're FY24, I think our operating expenses were about $4.8 billion. We're going to be $5 billion in FY25. And those are really big numbers, but then you have to break it down and understand that there are restrictions on those different areas. On the left side, when you look at this green, it's about $1.3 billion across the system. That's really where we deliver on the educational mission along with public service, some of the support and overhead services that we provide. Then as you move to the right, you look, we've got auxiliary services. And again, the yellow and green blend with each other more than you would think. So you've got things like housing and dining, bookstores, parking, a research reactor that are included in that $0.6 billion. And then if you can move one more to the right, you can see that's where our healthcare enterprise is at $2.1 billion. So, it continues to grow and is now over 40% of our overall financial profile. And then on the right, these are really important dollars to the university, but they're restricted to purpose. So these are gifts, grants, and contracts. It wouldn't be, if you give to the endowment, what would show up in this part of the budget would be the distribution from that endowment. So if I was to give a $10 million endowment to the university, that's not reflected here, but the spending distribution of 4% is reflected in those numbers. If, just to kind of go over where we did end the year, as I noted earlier, our performance did improve in the fourth quarter, and that is driven by the better than expected results we saw in healthcare. The other thing I'd highlight is we'll be sending you all our first quarter financial report here shortly. Right now, we're projecting that margin would be somewhere in the 2.2% range, and that is in large part by healthcare has continued to enjoy improved financial performance as we've moved into FY25. I think one of the things I'd highlight is we did see our cost outpacing our revenue growth, which is what's narrowed those margins. So I think, as we move forward, we're going to have to continue to think about how do we balance our expenses with our revenues. All that being said, I think our 5-year average is still above the 2.5% at roughly 3.5%. And one of the reasons we look at that as an average is we do have a long business cycle. So when we enroll a class, they're with us for 4 years, and the impact of that takes time to show up. We're showing the effect of Cap Region. I think, though, as it was reported at the recent Health Affairs Committee meeting, they're ahead of plan in terms of where they thought they would be in the integration with Cap Region. So we feel good with the direction that's moving in as well. This chart is just another take on the colors of money and breaks down the results by campus to kind of give you an understanding. And I think as you look to the far right, when you see the depreciation and interest expense, that is something that really drives the necessity for the margins so we can invest in those projects. The other thing I'd note is the consolidated numbers are lower, so you can't take these units and say, how do I get to the consolidated? Included within those consolidated margins, you've got some of our benefit expense that doesn't have offsetting revenue, so that's what's reducing that margin at the consolidated level. And then, I think all of our units saw a positive operating margin, with the exception of UMSL. I'd note UMSL's got some one-time operating expense related to some of the capital activity they're doing. If you took that out, we would have been at a break-even margin. And then over the last 5 years, I think UMSL's averaged about a 1.2% operating margin, which is consistent with the targets that we've established. This is just one of the charts that was included in the materials. It gives you a breakdown of the revenue by source. I think we've experienced solid growth in state support. We're well above our pre-pandemic levels. We're seeing growth in the auxiliary revenues with steady enrollment and continued growth of healthcare. I think the one thing I'd highlight is the focus on research growth. That's led to a 68% increase in grants and contracts over 5 years. And just in the last year alone, 15%. Patient revenue grew by about 8.6% the last year. So this is just giving you some sense of when you say, how are we approaching $5 billion, where are we seeing that growth? So this is included in the audited financials, and for governmental accounting standards, they refer to it as net position. If you want to think about it, it's really like equity in a FASB or private sector world. What we really focus on, though, is there's different types of it. So the unrestricted dollars are those dollars that we have the ability to put towards anything that we view as important. We have a lot of flexibility in how that's spent. I think the movement on this year is largely attributed to every year we have to market our pension liability, and so you will see some swings in how that moves over time. The restricted expendable, those are largely those donor gifts we receive with a specific purpose, or if we get an endowment, we have the spending distribution reflected in there. and then you've got to invest it in capital assets, which is really just your physical plant. And then the endowment is also reflected here. And so that's not reflecting what we can spend from the endowment, but the corpus of those individual endowments. And I always remind folks, we're not like a private institution where we have this single large endowment. We have thousands of endowment accounts that are largely to fund scholarships and professorships, and they're restricted in their specific use. I think this is just one of the charts we pulled out and wanted to note. We haven't seen growth in our debt profile, but we've certainly seen significant growth in our capital assets, and that's really been driven by those record investments that we've seen from the state and federal government. I think this should continue to grow for the next couple of years, and it'll largely grow not because we're getting new appropriations, but as the money's appropriated, we actually have to spend it and then actually build the capital assets. So we think that trend will continue, but I think as we look to the future, we will definitely need to look more to philanthropy and our ability to generate our own revenue, net revenues to reinvest. Because I don't think the government funding that we've enjoyed over the last 3 years can be expected to continue. Then, outside of debt, our next largest liability is related to the pension. And I think we continue to responsibly try to manage that within line of what the CRRs have established. The pension as of June 30, 2024 was 80% funded. I think we've got a $1.25 billion liability with both retiree medical and the pension. The only thing I'd highlight, though, is on that pension, that's the net liability, so that's after we take the assets that are in the pension trust. The overall liability for the pension is $5.65 billion. So I tend to think about that number of that's risk. I think that being said, the pension remains in good shape, but it's just going to continue to require careful management as we move forward. We did complete the optional vested termination buyout with an effort to see if we could offload some of that liability, and it did result in a $10 million reduction in the net pension liability. This spring, I think, as we come back and talk about benefits, we will continue to discuss with the board where there's opportunities to reduce the risk to the university. While I want to be clear, though, while still meeting our obligations to our pension plan participants. And then we've talked a lot about capital in the materials. We gave an update on kind of where we sat with each of the projects in terms of drawing that funding down, but so it's not only has it been appropriated, but have we drawn it down? I think compared to others, we're doing really well. We're at about, I think, 43% in terms of drawing it down for the MU projects. We were appropriated $209 million, and we've already drawn 157. So some of that was we had some shovel-ready projects that were ready to go. The MU Thompson Center is a $31.5 million appropriation, and we've drawn $6 million of that. The UMKC, we've been appropriated $80 million, and we've only drawn down about $1 million. That being said, we anticipate significant draws this year as we've now kicked off the actual construction and moved out of design. That S&T Protoplex was 41.2. I think we've drawn about $6 million on that project. And then for their advanced STEM program, it was a $50 million appropriation, and we've drawn 2.6. UMSL has drawn almost $20 million on the 80 that the chancellor went over today. And again, I'd be clear, we're running at about 43%. I think when we look at the draws from the rest of the state, they're at about 25%. So I think we're in good shape in terms of those projects moving forward.
Thank you for presenting this. I know it's one of the things we talked about, and great work, because it's definitely a comment that I hear is that we're on top of it and we're really utilizing our funds efficiently, especially those ones that were given through ARPA by the government.
Yeah, and a lot of the credit goes to the 4 campuses. I think they've jumped on it, made sure that we've had shovel-ready projects and that we can get to work on this.
Thank you.
I think some of the other things we look at, we've got 4 primary financial metrics that we look at, 2 of these being spendable cash to debt and spendable cash to operations. The dashed line shows you what our targets are. We're slightly under in terms of spendable cash to operations, but as you can see, we're more than slightly above in terms of spendable cash to debt. So I think we're comfortable running a little thin on the spendable cash to operations, which really represents, what would we have available to us if all revenue sources stopped and we had to pay out obligations over time, and how long could we do that for? So if you had a one there, you're at 1 year's worth, and we know we'd never experience that. Why it's important though is it gives you flexibility in the time of a financial crisis. It's how you avoid making decisions where you say, okay, well, we're declaring financial exigency, or we're putting folks on furlough. It gives you some runway to make decisions. We've included this in the past, and we've gone back and forth, and CFI used to be what we used as our target, and then they changed the accounting for the net pension liability, and it really made it kind of not the best. But it was originally developed by KPMG and some financial consultants for higher education, and it's still used by HLC and accrediting bodies. And it is intended to be just kind of one measure that you can quickly look at to gauge the financial health of an institution. So there's really primarily two income statement measures and 2 balance sheet measures that it looks at. With HLC, you clearly want to be above 3. Once you dip below 3, there's levels of watch that you go on. If you go below 1, it's viewed as severe. As you can see, we're well above that at 4.3. There is some thought that if you start to approach going north of 5, that you need to consider strategically, are you deploying resources appropriately? Because I think the scale runs from -4 to 10. Just to wrap up, and then I'm happy to answer any questions. I think I always look at it we're always kind of living in 3 financial years. We're wrapping up 1 year, we're in the current fiscal year, and then we're starting to think about the next fiscal year and longer term. In February, we will bring forward our 5-year financial plans and targets for the board's approval. And then in April, we'll review our state appropriation request for FY27. And then review the FY26 budget assumptions in April of '25, along with the capital plans, and then would plan to bring forward for approval at the May meeting for tuition, and then budget and state appropriation requests for approval at the June meeting. But happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? All right, we'll go ahead and move on to the action items. The first action item Ryan Rapp will present is a recommendation for the fiscal year 2026 student housing and dining rates.
Thank you, Curator Graves. Our approach to setting rates were really driven by the following. We wanted to remain across all 4 universities below the national average, but also and maintain MU's position of being a best value. We also, though, wanted to be competitive in the SEC and other peer universities. And some of the rates that you're seeing proposed today are largely a function of student demand, preference, and then also the need to make sure we continue to be able to invest in those physical assets. But one of the things we're seeing, and I think you'll see it reflected in the rates, is we're still going to continue to offer traditional dining plans at places, but there is less demand for that. We're seeing students demand more grab-and-go options. They want more branded options. We currently at MU have a Panda Express in the student union. Next year, we're looking at opening another branded option for students in the union. And that's, again, driven by their preference. We did just want to highlight this. We did some decreases in rates in 2017, 2018 at MU, and that was largely driven by demand. I think what we're trying to demonstrate here is that the dotted line shows you inflation. We're not outpacing inflation. The square box there shows you what the national average is for 4-year public doctoral institutions. The other thing we looked at is how do we compare to SEC schools in terms of the options we're offering. The SEC has, and we have options that ours range too, so it's not that there's just one single option. The SEC has options that range from $7,500 to $23,500, and that was for last year. With what we're proposing today, we would be proposing at a place like MU that your cheapest option could be $9,000 and the highest would be $20,500. So we're very much in line with what the other SEC universities are doing. So what I'm presenting here is there's details of the rates, but this gives you a sense of it, of the predominant plan or the plans that our students most commonly enroll in. I think at MU, we're looking at about a 6.6% increase. And then with UMSL, we're looking at about that, well, there's a typo. The one should be dining, but it's about a 1.9% increase. The dining rates for UMKC, Missouri S&T, and UMSL are largely, those are outsourced arrangements with those and largely driven by our contractual obligations there. And I think the contractual inflation was running right at 4% for those. I think the one thing I do want to highlight is there's clearly a difference in scale. We've got about 10,200 students in the dining plans at MU. I think S&T has about 2,000, and then the others are below 1,000. And then from a res hall standpoint, we've got about 7,000 beds at MU, 2,200 beds at Missouri S&T, and then we're below 1,000 at both of the other universities. So another way to think of it is, I think we do about $100 million in revenue for housing and dining at MU, 12.5 at UMKC, 24.5 at Missouri S&T, and $5 million at UMSL. But with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
Yeah, Ryan, as far as the cost, are we subsidized? Can you give me just a ballpark? I know it's hard for me to get my arms around like what that looks like.
No, that's we are not subsidizing those. I mean, we expect our housing and dining operations to operate as a tub on their own bottom. The good news is we'd had some challenges well, actually at all four universities, but right now I think we're running at almost 90% occupancy across all four universities. And when I say tub on their own bottom, we expect them to generate not only the net revenue to cover their operating costs, but then the net revenue necessary to reinvest. I should have highlighted earlier, I don't know if they're our single largest holder of debt, but we got about, I think, $400 million in debt related. I mean, it's common to have these financed on revenue bonds, but there's been a lot of financing over the years for those facilities.
All right, if there's no discussion, I have a motion to second the committee to approve the schedule of rates as outlined in the materials for the residence halls and family student housing on the MU, UMKC, Missouri S&T, and UMSL campuses effective beginning with the 2025 summer session.
So moved.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those on the committee in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those in committee opposed, nay. Madam Chair, on behalf of the Finance Committee, I move to recommend to the full board that the schedule of rates as outlined in the materials for the four campuses effective beginning of the 2025 summer session be approved.
Great. A motion is made to approve the 2026 student housing and dining rates. Do I have a second from the board?
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Curator Graves?
All right, for the final action item of the Finance Committee, Executive Vice President Rapp will present the recommendations for the Havener Arrival Complex naming.
Thank you, Curator Graves. I'll just be really brief, and then I was going to let Chancellor Degani make a few remarks. We're excited to present this. It was contained in your materials. I know there's been a lot of work at S&T to go into the Arrival District, and then with the $25 million gift that we've received, I think it's really exciting and a nice way to recognize Mr. Havener, but I'll let Chancellor Degani make a few remarks.
Thank you, Ryan. I just say that in recognition of the generous support by our longtime supporter, Gary Havener, we like to change the name from the benign Arrival District to Havener Arrival Complex, if you will. And in that light, we also reserve the the opportunity for the individual building namings to be capitalized in the future as well.
Any questions or discussion? All right, this is kind of interesting to read. May I have a motion second for the committee to approve the naming of the Havener Arrival Complex, as outlined in the materials before the board? I think we've already named it, it sounds like. From the committee, a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, moved and seconded by the committee. All those on the committee in favor of changing the name or formalizing the name signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Madam Chairman, move to the full committee the naming of the Havener Arrival Complex.
Thank you. A motion is made to approve the Havener Arrival Complex naming. Do I have a second from the board?
So moved.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All
I'd
those
like to vote benign.
Yeah. All those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Curator Graves.
That concludes the business of the Finance Committee.
Thank you. Thank you, Curator Graves. Curator Williams, please proceed with the Health Affairs Committee Chair report.
Thank you, Chair Winokur. As you are aware, the Health Affairs Committee met on November 14th. We received a presentation by Dr. Barron on the medical school and its certification, or I should say recertification. We received a report from Dr. Fondon on the healthcare quality update. And Greg Dameron provided us the financial update as well as some other information. I will now turn it over to the University of Missouri's Executive Vice Chancellor for Health Affairs and the Dean of the Medical School, Dr. Richard Barron, to share some key details and information from our meeting. Dr. Barron.
Thank you, Curator Williams, and good afternoon, Chair Winokur and members of the board. Here's my agenda. I'll provide updates on the School of Medicine, NextGen, and MU Healthcare. So first, updates from the School of Medicine. And as Curator Williams mentioned, I want to share some exciting news regarding the School of Medicine's accreditation. So the Liaison Committee on Medical Education conducted its accreditation survey in April and notified us on November 1st that we've received full accreditation for our medical education program for another 8 years. The survey revealed a few areas where there is need for continuing improvement. Examples, our students are always seeking more study space. They also indicated they would like more timely feedback after their clerkships, and they would like more advice regarding career path and more elective choices. So we are actively working to address this feedback, but I am so incredibly proud and so grateful to the faculty and staff and students who helped prepare for our reaccreditation cycle and that ensured that we had a successful visit. So our next full survey visit will be during the 2031-2032 school year. On another educational update, and this involves a partnership between MU and UMKC to launch a satellite campus for the UMKC Physician Assistant Program. So we anticipate that this program will start its initial cohort in January 2026. It will begin with 10 students per year and will expand to 20 students per class by 2028. So this partnership, I believe, shows how our campuses work together, such as they're already doing with the UMKC pharmacy program that's in both the Columbia campus and in Rolla. Also, I think this partnership shows how we continue to support our mission to provide enhanced health care for the state of Missouri. It's critical that our medical students get the opportunity to have a research experience. In our medical school in Columbia, Missouri, students select the faculty and the research project that they want to be involved in, and they have the opportunity to meet faculty at various forums and events during the course of their first year of medical school. So in this photo, you can see medical student Burhan Mubin and his mentor, Dr. Bettina Mittendorfer, who's also our Senior Associate Dean for Research in the medical school. Burhan's project, under the tutelage of Dr. Mittendorfer, examined the relationship between dietary protein and the development of plaques and arteries. Here they're standing in the Next Gen Precision Health building. Our annual School of Medicine Health Sciences Research Day took place just last week on November 15th, and all of the medical students who participated in the summer research program presented their scientific findings, and soon they will be published in our new MU Health Journal. Earlier this month, we reopened our Lattice Health Sciences Library. So this library serves the healthcare students for the School of Medicine, the School of Nursing, and the College of Health Sciences. So our students are very excited to have this beautiful new study space available. Additionally, the remodeled first and third floors of this building now serves as the new home for the Department of Pediatrics, which relocated from Keene Street. Let me turn to the strategic plan, the joint MU School of Medicine and MU Healthcare strategic planning process. So here's a diagram of the plan that'll carry us through from FY26 to FY 2030. So there are a variety of stakeholders that are participating in this process, and we had a kickoff on October 7th. We solidified the goals and the outcomes, and we started to draft strategies and for an integrated strategic plan, and I am very pleased that we had Curator Williams join us for the event, the whole thing. Thank you, Curator Williams. Our most recent planning session on November 5th focused on service lines. So we focused on cardiovascular, musculoskeletal, neuroscience, pediatrics, oncology, and women's health service lines. We will have working sessions in the first quarter of 2025 that'll be focused on education and research, and I will continue to keep the board updated on the process. One update on Next Gen Precision Health. The Next Gen Precision Health Motor Neuron Symposium was held in the Roy Blunt Next Gen Precision Health building, and this was an event that united colleagues and researchers and guests across the globe to share insights and discoveries and advances so we can have a deeper understanding of motor neuron disease, such as ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease. So more than 110 faculty and students, clinicians, and patients' family members attended the event. It featured over a dozen speakers that were internationally renowned in their field, and they came from as far away as Germany and Japan. And the event demonstrated, I believe, the power of the Next Gen Precision Health Initiative to accelerate scientific discovery at the University of Missouri. So now I'd like to turn for a few updates on MU Healthcare. And I want to mention some cutting-edge treatments that are now being offered at MU Healthcare, which were not offered in the past. First, the University of Missouri Healthcare has launched the region's only blood and bone marrow transplant and cellular therapy program. So we now offer blood and bone marrow transplants, as well as chimeric antigen receptor cell therapy, which is also known as CAR-T therapy, for adults with myeloma, lymphomas, and leukemias. Second, we also began offering laser interstitial thermal therapy, which is used to treat epilepsy and brain tumors and a phenomenon called radiation necrosis. So this treatment uses heat to destroy cancer cells or areas of dead tissue or a focus of the brain that's causing a seizure. It's a great advancement for our neuroscience service line, and it shows an amazing collaboration between multiple areas at MU Healthcare and School of Medicine, including neurosurgery, neurology, anesthesia, radiology, and of course, nursing. And finally, we've recently performed our first multi-vessel stenting procedure for patients with thoracoabdominal aneurysms. So this is an implantable branched device that uses an endoscope instead of an open surgery to insert these stents, and it reduces the risk to the patients and speeds up the recovery process. We know how important it is to have frequent and meaningful engagements with our faculty. We know this is a big national problem. Physicians experience burnout and low job satisfaction. The National Academy of Medicine reports that nearly 50% of physicians experience symptoms of burnout and disengagement. So how are we handling this at the University of Missouri? Well, first, we have to recognize that this is a national problem and a local problem, and we do recognize that. Second, we have to get data, so we are continually assessing the well-being and engagement and belonging of our healthcare providers through surveys throughout the year. And then we have to take action steps. So we have to engage the faculty and faculty leaders through a number of regular meetings that occur with me, with MU healthcare leaders, and now with our new Executive Vice Dean of the School of Medicine, Dr. Ross Safant, who you met earlier. We've engaged a large number of our faculty in the new strategic planning process. We also have regular town halls in which faculty can ask questions of our leaders. This is only a few of the ways, but we're always looking for new venues to get the word out to make sure that we are hearing about the needs of our faculty and staff and how we can best address those needs. As you all know, Hurricane Helene damaged North Carolina, and in particular, it damaged in North Carolina the Baxter Pharmaceutical Plant. This plant provided most of MU Healthcare's IV fluids. As a result, MU Healthcare immediately established an incident in command led by Dr. Laura Haseman and the Director of Pharmacy, Mr. Tom Greenlee, to help navigate shipment reduction that resulted in an IV shortage. Our team developed protocols for fluid conservation, utilizing utilization dashboards and patient data, and we ensured that we would have life-saving resources for our patients. So while many healthcare systems around the country had to cancel a large number of elective procedures, our team's efforts resulted in no significant reductions in surgical volume at MU Healthcare. And finally, I would like to update you on MU Healthcare's finances from the first quarter of this fiscal year. So our consolidated income through the first quarter of 2025 was $24.3 million on a budget of $7 million. So this growth is largely being fueled by volume growth of our clinical services. The discharge volumes, surgical volumes, and clinic visits all exceeded budget in the first quarter. We've seen a lot of additional strength in the outpatient areas of cardiology, gastroenterology, interventional neurology procedures, as well as oncology infusions. In addition, we're seeing good expense management across the board. And also, we are realizing increased income from our contract and specialty pharmacy program that contributed to this positive operating income. The contract and specialty pharmacy contribution is directly attributed to the resumption of business with manufacturers after the passage of House Bill 751 during the last legislative session. The Jeff City numbers are absorbed in this consolidated picture, but Cap Region Medical Center in Jeff City, I am very happy to say, is profitable, and it's ahead of budget by $2.3 million, which is largely attributed to volume growth. So that concludes my report, Mr. Chair and Madam Chair, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Any questions from the committee or the board?
I have a question. What was the major reasons for the improvement at Capital Region?
Well, volume is the main reason. When we took over Cap Region, they were only filling, at best, 50 hospital beds a day. We are now filling, on average, over 80 hospital beds a day. Also, in addition, we were able to do some consolidation of services, and Cap Region is also benefiting from the specialty pharmacy plan now that it's part of MU Healthcare. So it's a variety of things, but it turned around as Mr. Rapp reported quicker than we thought and in a bigger way than we thought it was going to.
But do you have a sense of like, because of MU labeling it? Or that there were better doctors, or?
I don't believe, well, I'll take MU labeling it, because we now have control of all the beds at Cat Region. So when calls come into our call service on where should we send a patient, we actually can determine, based on the acuity of the patient, do they go to Columbia or do they go to Jeff City? So we do have the ability to fill the beds quicker than the prior system.
So does that help you in terms of having enough beds at MU for critical
Oh, yes.
patients?
No, it definitely helps. Now both hospitals work on the same page in partnership, and it definitely gives us overall increased bed capacity for MU healthcare writ large. Definitely.
Any other questions? Hearing none, that completes the report of the Healthcare.
Thank you very much.
Great, thank you, Curator Williams. We're going to take a short break, 12 minutes, be back at 3:40. Thank you. So, switching to the last portion of our business, and I'm going to make some comments, and then we're going to move on to elections. So, here we go. As I end my term, as the end of my term as board chair approaches, I'm honored to reflect on what we have achieved together for the University of Missouri system. It's been a privilege to serve, and I'm proud of how our universities continue to thrive by embracing fresh ideas and perspectives to remain competitive and impactful. The success of our system is driven by the exceptional people who form its foundation, our talented faculty, dedicated staff, bright students, devoted alumni, generous donors, and valued partners. These individuals exemplify an unmatched commitment to education and progress, working together to ensure every aspect of our system prospers. From academic leaders designing innovative degree programs to meet evolving state and global needs, to police officers maintaining secure and welcoming campuses, every effort ensures an environment where excellence thrives. Our finance and facility teams bring vision and expertise to transformative construction projects, shaping the future of our campuses with state-of-the-art spaces that inspire learning and collaboration. At the same time, our agriculture and extension programs lead the way with research farms across the state, driving innovation in our food supply and benefiting farmers and industries alike. Our creative staff enhances public engagement and strengthens the university's reputation through compelling campaigns and storytelling. Meanwhile, our technology and IT teams ensure our campuses remain connected and equipped with cutting-edge tools to support learning and research. In classrooms and laboratories, our students, guided by dedicated faculty, turn education into opportunity, building a brighter future for themselves and for Missouri and beyond. The journey comes full circle in moments like graduations, a vivid reminder of the life-changing power of our universities. Seeing students in Columbia, Rolla, St. Louis, and Kansas City celebrate their achievements, surrounded by proud families and faculty, is an inspiring and heartfelt reminder of the impact of our universities. That same pride extends to our healthcare initiatives at each university, at MU Healthcare, and at the Research Reactor, where our education, discovery, and clinical care improves lives far beyond our borders. The commitment to improving the health of our fellow citizens is a high calling and one we have wholeheartedly embraced. As a member of the Board of Curators, it has been a privilege to help smooth the pathway for these successes. The University of Missouri system plays a vital role in driving economic growth, improving lives, and strengthening communities across the state. The board has advanced these connections through bold actions, such as transforming Mizzou Stadium to boost our national profile and state pride, supporting key initiatives at UMKC, such as expanding health science programs to meet workforce needs, advancing cutting-edge research facilities at S&T to fuel innovation, and prioritizing student success through campus revitalization projects at UMSL. These are not leaps of faith, but shared commitments to our universities, our state, and the collaboration between the board and the administration. These milestones, paired with rising enrollment, increased state support, and record research funding, reflect our shared drive for success. This volunteer board is motivated by a strong determination to foster meaningful change and growth, with a shared passion and dedication to serving the people of our state. Regardless of our academic backgrounds and alma maters, our service and pursuit of achievement has turned each board member into a tiger, a triton, a miner, and a roo. As my term ends, this board and the system we've shaped, the system we've curated, are already entering an exciting new chapter. Guided by Show Me State values and a strong investment in the right people, this new chapter will continue to elevate the University of Missouri system. On a personal note, I'm deeply grateful for the opportunity, to serve alongside my fellow board members. Your leadership has been steadfast and measured, transparent and focused, tenacious and unwavering in your commitment to improve the lives of those we serve. Together with President Choi, we have demonstrated that success is not about one person or a single group. It is about a team of dedicated partners united by a common purpose. And so we continue our shared mission. Our system is gaining incredible momentum with record enrollments, groundbreaking research, inspiring athletic programs that foster pride and unity, and facility investments that elevate our campuses. Together, we have laid a strong foundation for future success. This progress sets a high bar for the future, one that is aspirational and achievable. The board, in collaboration with our administration, is guiding our system into a new era of opportunity and growth for our state and our system. Together, we are ready to embrace the opportunities ahead and continue serving Missouri with excellence. Thank you to each of you for the honor of serving alongside you in this shared journey. Thank you. Credit to that idea to the Marcom team. Good job, John and Christopher and Kelly. Okay, so on to elections. Our next item of business is the election of board officers for 2025. First, may I have a nomination for the chair of the board?
I'd like to nominate Todd Graves.
Oh, thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Any comments along with those nominations?
I have a few comments. Robin, my time I've been on this board, I've had really two great, just excellent chairpersons to work for. And I think that our next chair really has to be somebody who replicates and enhances their performance. The success of Robin and Mike wasn't due to the fact that they were crowned chairperson by some vote. They were both leaders, and no title or anything like that can ever ordain anybody as a leader. So to continue the success that they have led us to, the success we have now, the rising trajectory of our board, we need somebody who I've already seconded to nominate. We need somebody that is going to be a leader. And that person is going to have to just lead us through together all the difficult decisions that we as curators have to make over this vast system that we govern. And if you think about it, you've got med schools and law schools and vet schools and optometry schools, and it just goes on down the line. And when I think of Todd Graves, I think we all know that he has, he's been great as an educator. His accomplishments on the board, his education, his law practice, a solid citizen. That's the type of person we need. And I just think throughout his life, he's just shown a lot of vision, a lot of wisdom, and a lot of passion. And to me, those three elements are really the hallmarks of a leader. And so I do second his nomination and hope that the board goes along and that Todd's our next chair of the Board of Curators.
Thank you. With having a nomination and a second, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, Curator Graves. Now, Chair-elect Graves.
Thank you.
Next is the election of Vice Chair for 2025, and I make a nomination for Mike Williams to serve as Vice Chair of the Board, and I'll make some comments after we receive a second.
Madam Chair, it is my delight to second the nomination of Mike Williams as Vice Chair of the UM System Board Chair.
Thank you. I'm excited for Mike to be nominated. He's a proven leader. He studies the issues. He asks hard questions, but is quick with praise. And he has an active engagement with each member of this board and with the university system at large. So he is a worthy, and we teased him earlier that he jumped to chair last time and he forgot the step as vice chair. So he had to go back and pick that up. So having a nomination in a second, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The motion carries. Congratulations to Curator Williams, the newly elected vice chair. Congratulations to both on their upcoming leadership. We look forward to their contributions in the new year. Curator Graves, will you join me at the podium? I want to congratulate Curator Todd Graves. His deep respect for our state and this institution has been evident through his astute questions, eloquent comments, and thoughtful leadership on the academic, student affairs, and economic development and finance committees, as well as his service on the Mizzou Intercollegiate Athletics Special Committee. In every aspect, he has led with clear purpose, particularly in his role as finance chair. His expertise, insight, and engagement with our administration has not only lit the way for projects at all of our university, it has ensured our financial health. To you, as is our custom, I've selected a passage from the book, A History of the University of Missouri, as you begin your service as chair of the University of Missouri Board of Curators in 2025. I believe it reflects this moment in the university's history and the enduring vision and goals you hold for our system. I'm going to let you follow along, but I typed it out. Okay. So here is, starting right there. Okay. Our university today, as it enters upon the second century of its history, stands as a significant symbol of progress in Missouri. And through the years, there have been built into its very bricks and stones, into its traditions and spirit, the ideals of sacrifice and service and a noble and worthy cause. Generations of students, teachers, administrative officers, and curators have contributed to their parts. So also have the alumni, the citizens, and the public officials of Missouri. While not directly connected with the day-to-day work of the university, nevertheless have had a clear vision of the essential function of the university performs in the total life of our state. The university enters its second century secure in the affections of Missourians and in their appreciation of the increasingly useful service it can render and does render Missouri. May the University of tomorrow, through building constantly upon the solid foundation laid in the past, continue to merit the confidence and loyal support of the great state it serves. On a personal note, Todd, I want to thank you for your partnership over this past year and say how much I have enjoyed volunteering with you. I have benefited greatly from your counsel and friendship. Under your leadership, I know we'll have another exciting and productive year. Congratulations. Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay, Rob, I have something to present to you. It's not a gift of mystery, I don't think, it's the honorary gavel.
Great, thank you.
Obviously, you've got several more months that you are going to continue to serve, but we've appreciated you. You've done a lot of great things for the way we conduct our meetings. You've dug in very hard on how the board interacts and how we interact with each other and how it functions. And I think this board and boards to come will be better off because of the work you've done. So thank you.
Very kind.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Now you're going to have to indulge me for just a minute. I appreciate this opportunity to serve, and we've talked about this before, but what I really love is that we're the University of Missouri. We're not the university in Columbia, Missouri, or Kansas City, or St. Louis, or Rolla, but of the state. And I think that word "of" has a lot of import to it. It's more than just a state institution. It's an institution that our research and teaching furthers the dreams and the aspirations of all of our citizens. It's an institution that I think is really, as I reflect on it, is I don't think it's too much to say that is the very beating heart of the state of Missouri, the University of Missouri is. And what we do as a university is we offer the promise of opportunity and promise of opportunity for the people of the state of Missouri. And that comes in many forms. One is educational opportunity. And that educational opportunity is my story and my family's story. I think Moon's heard me say this, but my family's been farming in the northwest part of this state for 8 generations. And for 5 of those generations, they've been graduating from the University of Missouri. And I think for a lot of our citizens, it means so much more than just a place they went to college or a team's colors they wear. It's part of their identity. In addition to educational opportunity, it creates the research that we do here at the 4 universities creates so much opportunity. And just a few things that I see on the horizon. I mean, our MUR, our research reactor, MUR Next Generation, world-class research, world-class facilities, world-class opportunities. And we have gotten the lead lap from decisions that were made in the 50s to get us into this business, and we need to maintain that position. And I think one of the things that we've talked about that should be on the agenda for the next year to further that, further research, further our research reactor, is to move forward on the Center for Energy Innovation. I think that's another partner, more STEM education, more STEM research. I think that's something that we need to focus on. But other projects that really catch my eye, Missouri S&T, one of my favorite things I saw there was their critical minerals project to mine minerals from long forgotten slag piles. Slag piles, mostly in the southeast part of the state, are just ugly reminders of a previous mining era. But if we can go into those piles and find critical minerals that we need now, I mean, that's wonderful research. We've all heard of the isolation discovery of chlorotetracycline, which is modern antibiotics at Sanborn Field. I think that was in 1945. But what many people haven't heard of, but those of us who raise cattle in this state know very distinctly, is what's being discovered right now. Anaplasmosis is a disease that is the bane of the cattle industry. If you breed cattle, cattle die from anaplasmosis. There's nothing you can do. They just get it and they die. And at the University of Missouri, Dr. Roman Ganta and the University of Missouri Vet School right now, are finalizing research that will hopefully eliminate anaplasmosis. So that not only affects the citizens of our state, it affects the citizens of our country and of the world. And something that I find really reassuring when you look at these things is these research fields. Sanborn Field was put in probably over 100 years ago. And if you ever look closely, and they might have removed it, but not that many years ago, right in front of the hospital was a gated area that was a long-term research farm that they were still conducting research at. I don't know if it's still there. Yeah, that's between the Next Gen Blunt Research Center and the hospital. And that's permanence, that's durability, that's what the university stands for. Because we're all going to come and go, but that kind of research endures. And speaking of the hospital, we deliver first-class healthcare opportunities to a great swath of Missourians. And in addition to the healthcare opportunities we deliver in central Missouri and other parts of the state, UMKC with a new health sciences district, that's very exciting, and the new medical school to focus on rural physicians in St. Joseph, those are very exciting to me. So what we as curators really have to focus on is brand value, and we've talked about that. That's what we're entrusted with. We curate the brand, I think, as much as the university. And that brand that we have reaches to all corners of the state. I was raised in a farming community 4 hours from Columbia. I was closer to 4 major universities by driving than I was to Columbia. And every night, when we turned on the TV, it was Omaha TV. And every Thursday night was Tom Osborne and the Big Red. We didn't get a lot of multimedia at that time in that part of the state. But what I can tell you is our brand was strong, and we knew what we were. And we knew about the University of Missouri. Football Saturdays, if you were driving a combine or a tractor, you listened to the Tigers. And our extension service agents, our 4-H program. Many of you have heard of the Graves Chapel Research Center, which is up in my part of the woods. But I knew Gary Chappell. Gary Chappell was our extension agent. Gary Chappell was the one that ran the livestock show that we did every summer. And so while I have distant relatives that are part of that name, that part of that name, the Chappell name, is actually more important to me. because of what I knew him as. And in our community, the farmers that I admired most were all graduates of the university, and they were proud of it, which is one thing that I find very funny. My dad's 91 years old, graduated from the University of Missouri. But when he would tell people, they'd start talking about college, and he would say, well, I graduated from the university. And it wasn't the University of Missouri, it was the university, as if there were no other university that you could be proud to graduate from. So our brand is very strong. Our AAU brand is strong, and it's on an upward trajectory thanks to this board and the president and the leadership of the university. We've got 2 consecutive years of double-digit increases in applications, and that's at a time of declining application. That's because of the brand that we have. Many of us are very excited about the overhaul we're doing this year and next year, of a sold-out Memorial Stadium for the centennial anniversary of that stadium. And as I mentioned at a previous curators meeting, I first saw the university by hearing on the radio what it was like on a football Saturday. So that is a gateway to our brand to many people. I saw it in my imagination by the way that the announcer described the day in Columbia. And according to him, every day was sunny and every day was 70, even in October. So that's what I expected. I got a little shocked when I showed up. It wasn't quite like that, but wasn't disappointed. So we've all been able to serve in an unprecedented time of building success at all of our universities, and I'm grateful for that. I mean, part of that is leadership, part of that's luck. We're just here at a good time, and it's our job to take every advantage of that time that we can. And my pledge as chair is that I will continue to work to build the brand and fulfill the promise to all Missourians at this university. The same promise I counted on my fingers and toes last night, over 25 members of my family, all of whom I've known, who have received that promise. And so that's pretty important. And I want to close with something. My father, one of the things that, one of the perks we get as members of this board is occasionally we get to stay in the chancellor's house for a special event. And I've been able to stay there. My dad always wants to come down. He walks around the columns. He really enjoys that. And one time we were having coffee in the chancellor's residence, and he said to me, did you ever think we were the kind of people that would stay in the chancellor's residence and know the president of the University of Missouri? And in fact, he called me just a little while ago, even when I was in the other room. He said, did you ever think we were the kind of people that would be the chair of the Board of Curators of the University of Missouri? And what I said to him then, but I didn't really flesh it out, I said it a little bit as a smart aleck. I said, Dad, I always thought that. It was never in doubt. But the truth is, I always thought that partly because we're graduates of the University of Missouri, and because we consider ourselves true sons of this state and this university. And if you're a graduate of the University of Missouri, no opportunity is beyond your grasp. So I appreciate you all selecting me, and thank you.
Congratulations again. At this time, I'd like to open the floor for any items for the good and welfare of the board.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Thank you for your service as chairwoman, the chair of this body for the last year. You've been dedicated and worked hard at it, and we really I personally appreciate everything that you've done. And thank you for your leadership.
Thank you. That's kind of you. Thank you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Could I add on to that a little bit? So I'm the newest member on this board. But Robin, you have always had the best interests of the university at heart. And that shows in everything that you do. And the other real asset that you bring to this board is that you push the university and this board to increase our even already very high standards, to always nudging it up just a little bit more. And that is a real asset and will pay off for years to come.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, I want to take a minute and thank the team at UMSL who help us host a meeting. Chancellor Sobolik, your office, thank you so much, specifically Sydney Moore. External, go ahead. Oh, they're not catching, sorry. External Relations Division, Assistant Vice Chancellor for External Donor Relations, Susan Elliott. UMSL Event Services, Lester Stewart and his team. UMSL Information Technology Services, Laura Patterson and team. UMSL Police Chief, Marisa Smith and her officers, and Communications, AVC Justin Roberts and his team. So a great group at UMSL. Thank you so much for having us. We know that it takes a lot of planning, and thank you. And we know we kind of stop your week sometimes, so much appreciated. And then an indulgent on behalf of the board, as we finish the year, I wanted to thank system leaders and their teams for all their support this past year. It is quite a team. This may take a minute. First of all, the board office, Valerie Slayton and Phyllis Hawk, and our intern, Thad Harmon. MVP, our amazing AV team, Nathan Byrne, Susan Conyers, Dustin Rogan, Nick Benner, Mike Bowles, Eric Heeman, Andy Ramirez, Vic Smith, Abby, I'm going to hope I have her last name pronunciation right, Lynn Kitus, Nick Andrasian, did I say that right? I don't think I did, and Jeannie David. System Communications, John Danker, Christopher Ave, Kelly Weeman, Zach Gormley, the President's Office, Janet Brandis and Jenna, the Office of the General Counsel. We are grateful for each member of this team, specifically Mark and his deputy, Paul McGuffey, and all of our committee liaisons and their teams, John Middleton, Stephen Chafin, Xander Kent, Dina King, Marcia Fisher, Carol Wilson, Jessica Baker, Brandy Stockton, Mark Mangini, President Choi, Ryan Rapp, Kevin Hogg, Eric Vogelwide, Tom Richards, Carla Church, Laird Veach, Eric Morrison, Marcy Gerton, Blair DeBoard, Rick Barron, Rick Ransom, Amanda Burke, and Susan Hayden. All of these people during the course of the year have a big impact when we run these meetings and we have our committees. So thank you to each of them. If there's no other comments, then we will adjourn the meeting. I'll take a motion to adjourn in a second.
I'll move.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
This concludes the public portion of today's meeting. President Choi, Chair-elect Graves, Vice Chair-elect Williams, and I will be available during the press conference in about 5 minutes. So let's shoot for 4:10. Thank you so much.